Hey everybody, this is Mark the Game Shark here with another Games I've Beaten video. And this year it's going to be all the games I've beaten in 2018. I didn't beat a whole lot of games since I only was gaming for 3/4 of the year. Since the last quarter I was mostly just focused on my getting my certification. So I only beat 47 games this year. So I'll just go down the list real quick and give my opinions on them, and if there's any games that are interesting that not a lot of people have heard of that I thought was interesting, I'll show some gameplay as well as I'm talking. Kind of like I did last year. I think I only did like a select few of games, because if I went down and had a gameplay of every video, like, fuck that, that would take way too long. And I don't want this video to be too long and dragged out, because then people will probably lose interest. So right off the bat, the first game I beaten was Unmechanical on the PS3. I'm not sure if it's on PS4 or Xbox or whatever, but I played it on the PS3. It was a free game at one point for PS Plus, so I was like, oh, this game's interesting. It's kind of like, it's pretty interesting. You go around, you're like this little, like, mech flying thing, and you're doing, like, different puzzles. You're in this, like, huge, like, ship thing, and I guess you're trying to find your way out. It's been a while since I played it, but like you're probably watching some gameplay video of it now. It's pretty interesting. I would highly recommend it if you've come across it or actually have it. Like I didn't had it. I didn't even know I had it. And I just get these free games on PS Plus, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even know I got in that game, because I just like add it to cart and then I forget about it. The second game I beat was Final Fight on the SNES. It was their game of the month, and that game's tough. Like, it's such a pain in the ass, that game, because a lot of the times the game will eat your inputs when you're like pressing punch. It won't actually punch, and then you end up getting hit. So I ended up having to use save states, because some of the parts are fucking ridiculous. So it's a fun game. I definitely highly recommend it. Beat 'em up. I think they have that on the beat 'em up bundle or whatever the hell is going around now. I think it's on that as well. The third game I beat, Adventures in the Magic Kingdom for the NES. I've never actually beat this game. It's not that hard of a game. Some of the platforming levels is a little tricky, but it wasn't too bad. I ended up beating that with my my daughter. She was watching me, and we both were messing around with that. Fourth game was Lego City Undercover on the Nintendo Switch. I think the Switch version is probably the best way to go if you're playing that game, because, I mean, I don't know if I think it's on PS4 as well, but I think the load times is the best on those platforms, because I know with the Wii U, the load times were just dreadful, and it just, like, killed the game, but I liked it. It was the first Lego game I ever beaten. It was a pretty cute game. I enjoyed it. The fifth game I actually beat on the PC, which was Jamestown. It's a shooter game, like an indie shooter. It's really fun. It's pretty difficult, because you actually have to beat it. You can only beat the game on the highest difficulty, which I didn't know. I was like, oh, you know, I'll play through the game on normal, but you can only get to a certain level. And then you're like, oh, to proceed further, you have to play on, like, hard. So I'm like, all right, I played through all the levels on hard, and then you get to then it's like, oh, to beat the final level, you have to beat on, like, the hardest setting, which is, like, the next one. So I had to play all the levels again, and then I finally beaten the game, which was kind of annoying, but now you know that from this video going in, if you check that game out. I highly recommend it if you like shooters. It's very fun. The graphics are very good. And the game's it's a bullet hell, but it's like a fair bullet hell. Like, it's not like it's impossible. Like, oh, this game's impossible. Like, it's doable. I've beaten it. It's the first bullet hell I've actually beaten, like, recently. 6, another PC game I beat, Post Mortem. It's kind of like I guess a point and click, like, first person type of view, kind of like Myst in a way, and then you're like first person, you're like trying to solve a murder mystery from this woman, and there's a nice twist at the end, and there's also 2 more in the series, which I've I think Still Life. It's Still Life 1 and 2 is the continuation of Post Mortem, which I've just recently got for cheap on GOG. So I definitely look forward to playing those two games sometime this year. Seventh game was Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse on the Sega Genesis. I've played this game like a ton, but I've never actually beat it. So I was like, oh, you know what, I'll go through and I'll actually beat it. So I did. It's a pretty fun game. The eighth game was another game of the month game was Kirby's Pinball Land on the Game Boy. Man, I mean, I already suck at pinball. I like pinball, but even though I suck at it, and stop changing, you piece of shit phone. And like I had to use save states. Like there's no way I would be able to beat that game. Like that is super frustrating. Like as soon as you like go down to the next stage, like that's it. You have to like crawl your way back to the top. It's such a pain. I'm like, oh my god, so frustrating. Like if I didn't have save states, like, and I was playing that like back in the day on the Game Boy, like yeah, I'd probably like break my Game Boy. It's ridiculously stressful. And next one is a very fun game. It's actually probably the first failure from Limited Run, because the Limited Run came out with this and no one bought it. Mostly because around that time they had that for release. You could get that for free, and I got it, which I did. I got it for free on GOG as well as Steam, and that's Jotun. It's a fantastic game. I'll put in gameplay of this game. It's like such an eye candy type of game. Like the graphics are amazing. And the boss fights are just so epic. My only gripe with the game is that there's not a lot of enemies. Like the last two boards, there's some enemies, but they're easy. They don't propose a challenge. Like the only challenge of the game is probably the end bosses that you fight. But it's nice, a beautiful game. It's really interesting. So the premise of the story is like you're a female Viking, and you get wrongfully killed in like a shipwreck or some shit like that, and you end up drowning, and you want to prove yourself. So you have to fight all these 4 gods to get to Valhalla. So it's a really interesting game. I enjoyed it. Jotun, I beat it on the PC. You can play it on Xbox One, and I think on PS4 as well. 10th game was Mickey's Ultimate Challenge on the Sega Genesis. I beat this, obviously, with my daughter since it's a kid's game. It's it's pretty really easy because it's a kid's game, but doing the goofy puzzle was kind of bullshit, I thought. And then the last puzzle I completely suck at. It's one of those puzzles, as a kid, it's a blank square, and you have to rotate the square to make the picture. That's like the final boss, like the final, I guess, area of the game. Such bullshit. I hate those things. The 11th game was Rime on the PS4. That game was really fun. Some parts were a little confusing. It's like a walking, a platformer type of game where you're running around and you're doing puzzles. I did a few live streams of that, so if you want to check that gameplay, check out my previous live streams of it. 12th game was Make My Video from Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch on the Sega CD. Now this is where I had like sort of a Sega CD kick, and I loved playing this game back in the day. And I was like, you know what, I haven't played this game. It's really easy. All you basically do is like you make videos and tailor to whoever enjoys like Marky Mark. Like they're like, oh, I want to see like action scenes in this video, in this music video. So you make sure you select all the action scenes to get like get it as approval pretty much of the video. So it's kind of interesting. Next one was Jurassic Park on the Sega CD. I've never beaten this game. I always thought it was a complete bore fest, but it was actually pretty interesting. I used a strategy guide since I figured like I had no idea what the hell to do in the game. It's pretty simple actually. You're just going around collecting all the eggs and putting them in the incubator, and then when I was playing this, I tried to play it on my Sega CDX, and the load time was ridiculous. I thought the game was broken, but I popped it in my Model 2 and it loads right up. So that's one downside of the Sega CDX, is the memory limitations. It's dreadful. Like there's a lot of the games you can't even play on it. They're just unplayable, and Jurassic Park is one of them. Next is Virtua Fighter on the Sega Genesis 32X, which is the proper name for 32X. It's a pretty fun fighter. I always loved the Virtua Fighter series. I never got into the latest ones, like Virtua Fighter 4 and 5, or 3 for that matter. I think there's a 5, I don't know. But yeah, simple fighter, enjoyable. I ended up beating it. 15th game was Mansion of Hidden Souls on the Sega CD, and I beat this because it was a short game, and I was like, oh, what makes this game so short? And literally, you're just going in different parts of this mansion. It's not even scary. That's the main reason I wanted to play it. I thought it would be like kind of creepy. I mean, it's sort of a creepy atmosphere, but the video is so cheesy, it's kind of like offsets the creepiness factor. The next game I beat was Burning Soldier on the 3DO. And I had no idea about this game. I knew I had it, but I didn't know like what type of game it was until I saw my buddy Austin do a Let's Play of it. And it's like a space shooter. Like you're looking, like kind of like Star Fox, where you're behind the ship. And it's really good. The soundtrack is amazing. And the game is like amazing. Like if you have Burning Soldier on the 3DO, I would highly recommend taking a look at it. I'll show up some gameplay as well as I'm talking about it. But yeah, it's pretty easy to get through. The only hard part was the ending, because you had to like rapid fire, and it's like, oh man. I ended up getting to like the last boss, and my fingers were hurting. I ended up switching it out with a turbo pad just to get through the game. But it's really enjoyable. I would highly recommend it if you've never even heard of it. And I think you can only play it on 3D. I don't know if it came out on PS1. Next game is Limbo. Played it on the PS4. It's obviously on 360, PS3, Xbox One, yada yada yada. It's a morbid puzzle game, and I enjoyed it. It was one of our Game of the Months. Then 18 was L.A. Noire. I ended up beating that on the PS4. I got that as a gift randomly from my good buddy Jeff at The Gamer Jeff. So shout out to Jeff. Thank you very much, Jeff, for the kind gesture. And yeah, it's funny, we actually played it together, and we were supposed to do like a podcast to talk about the game, but that never happened. But I mean, we talked back and forth via Facebook Messenger, so I guess that's good enough. But yeah, I enjoyed the game. I actually played this way back with my ex, and I didn't even like the game. I was like, oh man, I suck at this game. You have to kind of figure out like what people are thinking and interrogating. I just sucked at it. But this time I got pretty good at it. And I like how it has different segments of the game. Like there's a driving scene. There's a part where it's kind of like yours, where you're like hiding behind barriers and shooting people. And I like how that like mixed up the gameplay. So it always made the game fresh. It was never like, oh, same shit, you know. It like switched it up to make it interesting. Oh man, I better hurry up. 19 was Doom on the PS1. It was our game clubs was the new Doom, which I beat in the year prior. So I was like, well, you know what? I haven't beaten Doom in forever. So let's play the PS1 version. I was going through different versions, and I ended up just going for the PS1. It was close between PS1 and 32X, so I chose PS1 since it has the saves. It was easier to go through. 20 was a free game I got. It was Dragon Ball Z Taiketsu on the Game Boy Advance, and apparently it's a fighting game. I'm not into Dragon Ball Z, but I enjoy fighters, and that was a very good fighting game. Like if you enjoy fighters, I would highly recommend it. It's pretty easy, and it didn't take me long to beat at all. 21 was Pac-Mania on the NES. It's a lot easier than Pac-Mania on the Genesis. The Genesis one I can't beat, but the NES one wasn't too bad. It's a lot simpler. probably due to memory. 22nd game was For Honor. I got that on the PS4. I got that from Woodbury's contest giveaway. And it's a fun game. I know he enjoyed it, and I finally got around to playing it, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't too bad. I didn't even bother playing the multiplayer because I know a lot of people. I'm not really into multiplayer games, but I heard a lot of people say like bad things about it, so I was like, I'm just gonna avoid that. 23rd game was Halo 2. Beat that on the Xbox One compilation. And yeah, my friend Jay and I ended up going through it, and I don't remember anything from Halo 2. Last time I beat Halo 2 was when it came out on the original Xbox. Like the storyline, I was like, I had no idea. It was like basically a brand new game to me because I didn't remember any of it. Game number 24 was Karate Champ on the NES. Just a simple fighting game on the NES. It actually repeats. So after you beat like the 6th enemy, then it goes back to the beginning and just keeps repeating itself. So I was like, oh, I played like a couple rounds playthroughs. I was like, all right, I beat the game. I don't want to fight the same guy like 4 times. I'm sorry. How unprofessional. I'm like talking and looking how long the video is. I don't want to be too long. 25 was Shadow Dancer 2, The Secret of Shinobi for the Sega Genesis. I didn't even know this was even a thing. I don't even know if they have Shadow Dancer 1 for Shinobi. I guess it's like a side story of the Shinobi series. It's pretty tough, but an enjoyable game. 26 was Life is Strange on the PS4. That game is amazing. Oh my god, that's a emotional roller coaster of a game. I thought it was going to be a long game, kind of like the length of like Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy, but it seemed rather, may have been the same length, but I thought it was shorter. But I enjoyed it. There's like 5 episodes. They're pretty quick. 27 was Zero Tolerance on the Sega Genesis. I haven't beat this game in ages. Like I don't know, since grade school. And it's like, you know what? Let me try and beat Zero Tolerance. It's one of my all-time favorite Sega Genesis games since I love first-person shooters. So I played through it all legit. I killed all the enemies. I like that game because there's different methods you can go about beating the game. Like you don't have to kill everyone and just go straight to the boss. But I ended up beating legit and finding all the enemies and wiping them all out. 28 was Streets of Rage on the Sega Genesis. This is a classic beat 'em up. Need I say more? Same with 29, Streets of Rage 2 on the Sega Genesis. 30 was Wario Land 2 on the Game Boy. Jay and I were continuing the Wario Land series. 31, Streets of Rage 3 on the Sega Genesis. That game is on some bullshit. Because the one area in the construction site, like, I've always got hit by the guy that you have to, like, kill. You have to destroy all the blocks and try to avoid getting hit by the guy with the bulldozer. I always get hit. No matter how hard I tried. I even dumbed it down to, like, easy difficulty. And that part is on some bullshit. Like, really? That's, like, trollish fucking level design right there. 31, TMNT, the Hyperstone Heist on the Sega Genesis. Wow, that game is fantastic. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I was like, this might be an okay fighting game, but it's amazing. The soundtrack is epic. The graphics are amazing. It's bright colors. I highly recommend it. Now, probably this year I'll probably try the one on the Super Nintendo, see how they compare. I heard they're basically the same game, just on different consoles. 33 was Wave Race on the Game Boy. I got that game as one of the giveaways for my buddy Justin's channel, Spooch Game Hunting. And yeah, it's a fun game. It's like a top-down view of your wave race guy, and you're just going around the track. It's pretty fun. I thought it was an interesting game. 34, Fighting Masters on the Sega Genesis. I probably will end up doing a Let's Play of this in the near future, so I'm not going to put any gameplay footage of this game. So, yeah, spoilers for future content. 35, and it's a classic fighting game. A lot of people don't like the game, but I grew up with the game, so I guess I have nostalgic for it. So there's that. Then these next couple games I'm just going to breeze right through because everyone knows about it. If you don't, shame on you, I guess. I don't know. 35, Sonic the Hedgehog for Sega Genesis. 36, Sonic Hedgehog 2 on Sega Genesis. 37 was Alien Isolation on the PS4. It was our game of the month. I've done numerous live streams of it, so you guys are pretty familiar with it. It's a stealth type of game. Some of the level design is pretty shitty and annoying. And the game, that one section I thought didn't need to be in the game. It's just drugged out. Overall, it wasn't too bad of a game, though. 38 was Injustice Gods Among Us on PS4. I did a complete live stream of that. I actually beat the game, which I didn't even think I was going to do. I thought I was going to shut the game off and then, beat it later. But I was like, might as well see how far this game is, and I ended up beating it. It's a great game, but I had no idea what the hell was going on in the story. So I asked my buddy Corey, and yeah, he was confused too. Apparently it's like there's comics related to the fighting game that have a more in-depth story so that you know what the hell is going on. Me, I was just like, oh. If you like fighters with no story, I mean, there's a story, but if you don't care for the story, I would highly recommend it. But yeah, I was like, and apparently they're making a second one, which I guess is the prequel, I've heard, so that should help tie in some storyline holes as well. So we'll see. 39 was Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on Sega Genesis. Need I say anything? Sonic's awesome. 40 is Knuckles in Sonic 2 for Sega Genesis. I like it. I never played like the Knuckles versions of the Sonic games, so we ended up going through them as well, what Jay and I did. And they're kind of cool. I like how they tailor the level to Knuckles to his mechanics of the game, which is pretty neat. 41, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Jeez, on Sega Genesis. 42 was Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles with... Oh, the first 41 was with Sonic, and the 42nd one was with Knuckles. So they're all different games when you did like the lock-in technology to play for different variations of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. 43 was Sonic 3D Blast on the Sega Genesis. 44 was Sonic the Hedgehog on the Game Gear. 45, Sonic Labyrinth on the Sega Game Gear. 46, Sonic Chaos on the Sega Game Gear. And last but not least, 47, Sonic Blast on the Sega Game Gear. And which, these were all a Sega Genesis compilation I had on the PS2 that I got 2 game pickup videos ago. So there it is, guys. Wow, 23 minutes. Whew. I didn't want this thing to be over 45 minutes. I just wanted to breeze right through it. Talk about games that you guys probably aren't familiar with. Obviously, why would I talk anything more about the Sonic games? We did all of them on the Sega collection. So there's no need to talk any more about that. And that was it. There's all 47 games I've beaten. I'll put in the description, I'll list them all out so you can check them out if you're interested. Yeah, how many games have you guys beaten? I know I've watched a billion of your guys' videos. I know I'm late to the party. I saw my buddy Chris DC Radaya do a video. He said he was late. Well, I'm later since I already saw his video. I was trying to gauge his video of how he talked about it. I noticed he did skip through some of them. Me, I'm crazy. I'll talk about every single one, but I'll list it. So there you have it, guys. It's all the games I've beaten. I plan to beat more this year. My goal is usually around 50 games a year. I think that's a good count. Between 40 and 50 is a good amount. And I still have a huge backlog, so I don't know how the hell that happens. One of these days I'll knock out my crazy amount of backlog. And the twist at the end, games I did not beat in 2018, which was Lost Sphere on the Nintendo Switch. I probably got through 3/4 of the game, and then I started my certification, and I thought I could balance out just that game and my certification, but I was like, nah, I just have no time to play any games, so I ended up stopped playing it. So I'm just gonna have to redo the whole game over again this year, and hopefully there won't be any distractions. It's a fun game, but at least now I know what certain parts I got stuck at. I know what to do to not get stuck. So at least I should be able to get back to where I am rather quickly, rather than like me running around for a half hour not knowing what the hell to do. So there you have it, guys. Oh god, I'm rambling on way too much past the damn end of the video. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, this is Mark the Game Shark signing out. Have a good day.